These are the 3 ways to make a man feel desired. Compliment him like you mean it, and maybe flirt a little while you're at it. Picture this: a man gets more compliments from strangers in the span of a week than he gets from the woman he sleeps next to every night. That's not rare. That's a Tuesday. You'd be shocked how many men walk around with full beards, tailored suits, doing push-ups in the garage like they're preparing for a Marvel audition, and still feel invisible at home. Why? Because the only compliment they want, the one that actually matters, is the one from her, the woman they care about. But it's often the one thing missing. And it's not about vanity. It's not about stroking his ego like he's some Greek god who demands daily worship. No, he just wants to feel seen, desired, like he still makes your heart skip a beat. And when he doesn't get that, he starts to wonder why. Now, a lot of women say, "I already told him he was attractive when we started dating." Okay, cool. But that was 3 years ago. Compliments have an expiration date. It's like watering a plant once and wondering why it's dead in August, and then there's the fear. The fear that if you hype him up too much, he'll get cocky, or worse, take you for granted. But let's be honest, if your man runs off because of a compliment, you didn't inflate his ego. You exposed his immaturity, and thank you for saving time. The truth is, most men don't hear anything like, "You look good today," or "That shirt makes your arms look insane." And physical compliments? They hit like fireworks. Not because he needs validation, but because it answers the unspoken question, "Do you still want me?" Flirting also plays into this. And no, it doesn't mean turning your relationship into a steamy soap opera. It's the subtle things. The side eye, the playful, "You're trouble," the casual touch when you walk by. It's energy. And if vulnerability makes that hard for you, if you're scared of putting yourself out there, of being too much, of getting shut down, that's okay. But here's a truth bomb. Withholding affection to protect yourself from rejection also protects your partner from connection. There's no intimacy without vulnerability. Complimenting and flirting are low-cost, high-return investments. They soften walls, invite closeness, and let him know, "I choose you," again and again. So if it's been a while since you looked him in the eye and said something that made him feel 10 feet tall, do it today. Even if it's awkward at first, even if he laughs it off, even if you have to hype yourself up like you're going into battle, say it anyway. Because when you stop complimenting him, he doesn't stop needing it. He just stops expecting it from you. Initiate. No, seriously, initiate. All right, let's talk about something that's quietly but aggressively choking the life out of intimacy all around the world. Waiting for him to text first, waiting for him to kiss you, waiting for him to make the first move, waiting for him to somehow become a certified mind reader with a built-in emotional radar system, like he just downloaded the latest psychic boyfriend update. The truth is, there are thousands, no, millions of men out there silently hoping, praying even, that their woman will just start something, anything. A kiss, a cuddle, a flirty glance, a hand on the leg during a movie. Because it's not always about sex. It's about energy. It's about effort. It's about receiving, not just giving. See, when a woman initiates affection, especially if it's spontaneous and not part of some obligation checklist, it says more than words ever could. It says, "I want you," not just "I love you," or "I'm loyal to you," but "I actively desire you, I choose you, still, right now." And here's where it gets sticky. Life. That unavoidable, messy, never-on-schedule life. You've got deadlines, kids yelling, your back hurts, your brain is running on 7% battery, and Netflix is asking, "Are you still watching?" Like it's judging you. So yeah, physical connection can slide, but it never just slides. It erodes, not in one dramatic moment, but drip by drip. It's not that you don't care, it's that "not now" turns into "maybe later," which turns into "maybe never." And when enough of those moments pile up, suddenly it's been weeks or months since either of you felt that spark, and now you're both asking, "What happened to us?" It's not a mystery. It's math. No input equals no output. What's wild is that a man can be madly in love with you, fully committed, and still feel rejected. Not because you don't care, but because affection has become one-sided. He reaches for your hand, he leans in for a kiss. He initiates every cuddle, every bedroom moment, every playful touch. And when he gets turned down often enough, it stops feeling like affection and starts feeling like a sales pitch. He begins to wonder, Am I even attractive to her anymore? That question might never leave his mouth, but it shows up in his posture, in his hesitation, in the way he starts pulling back emotionally to avoid being turned down again. Now, let's be real, if you're not in the mood, that's okay. You're allowed to be tired. You're allowed to not feel like it. But if you are in the mood, even just a flicker, lean into it. Not because you owe it, because you want to build that connection again. And if that connection feels broken or strained, don't wait for a perfect moment. Create one. Sometimes it's as small as sliding closer on the couch. Sometimes it's saying, "You looked good today, just so you know." Sometimes it's initiating non-sexual touch. A back rub, a kiss on the cheek, a hug from behind. These things compound. That kind of attention and intention makes him feel like more than a routine, more than a provider, more than someone who just checks things off a to-do list. It reminds him, I'm still her man, she still wants me, and that feeling is addictive in the best way. Now yes, some men are more emotionally wired than physically. They want connection through conversation, shared dreams, deep talks at 2 a.m. But for many, especially those whose love language is physical touch, that gesture of initiation is the ultimate, I see you, I want you, and I'm choosing you. So if your partner is someone who's always been the initiator, imagine how much it would mean if, for once, you were the one who started it. Not because it's fair, not because it's balanced, but because you want to break the cycle. Because deep down, you know how much even a small gesture can restore something that's quietly been dying. So go ahead, text him that "just thinking about you" message, pull him in for a kiss when he walks in the door, cuddle him without being asked. Reach for his hand under the table like it's your first date all over again. Don't wait, initiate. Because sometimes love doesn't die from betrayal, it dies from neglect. And desire doesn't have to be some rare, dramatic event. It can be in the way you look at him, the way you touch him, the way you start something just because you want to. That man who still opens your car door, still checks if you've eaten, still reaches out when you're quiet. He deserves to feel wanted too, not as a reward, not as a chore, but as the human you fell for. Ask his opinion, then actually listen. You know what feels amazing? Being heard, not tolerated, not nodded at. Actually, I listened to. You'd be surprised how many men walk through life feeling like their voice doesn't really matter in the relationship. They bring up an idea and it gets dismissed. They share an opinion and it gets overruled. They suggest a plan and it gets changed without even telling them. Eventually, they just go quiet. Not because they have nothing to say, but because no one seems to want to hear it. Now, asking a man for his opinion might seem small, but it's not. It's massive. It says, I trust you. It says, I believe in the way you think. It says, I value your insight, even if I don't always follow it. And listen, he's not asking to run your life. He's asking to be part of it. When a man feels like a teammate, he rises. When he feels like a background character in his own story, he detaches. This isn't about inflating fragile male egos. It's about partnership. It's about respect. And respect is the soil that desire grows in. Let's flip it. Imagine being in a relationship with a guy who never asks for your thoughts, never includes you in decisions, never cares what you think. He just does what he wants and expects you to deal with it. You'd feel invisible, right? Disrespected, unloved. So now imagine how a man feels when he gets the same treatment. And no, asking for his opinion doesn't mean you have to agree with everything, but it does mean you considered him, and being considered is deeply attractive. Now, for anyone out there thinking, I don't ask because I don't like his answers, ask yourself, is the problem his opinion or your trust? Because if you trust his heart, even a terrible idea becomes a conversation, not a conflict. So next time you're planning something, deciding something, navigating something, ask him, then really listen. Because making him feel like a man doesn't come from boosting his pride, it comes from honoring his presence. If this opened your eyes even just a little, then don't let it stop here. Send this to someone who needs it. Watch it again if you need to. And if you're ready to bring more love, connection, and desire into your relationship, make it a lifestyle, not a last resort. Tap that like button, hit subscribe, and check out the next video on how to prepare for your future husband by doing these 7 things. Because the more love you learn to give, the more love you'll receive. Thanks for watching. Now go make that man feel seen, because trust this, When a man feels desired, he doesn't stray. He stays, and he shows up like never before.